more laying down posture stuff, back stuff. And it'd probably be helpful for the camera to be angled down so you can actually see the floor. Alright. What's the time? It is 9:02. Welcome back. We're doing some light joint mobility and posture work starting now, probably for about 45 minutes, an hour, and then I'll do Q&A. We'll just chit chat for a little bit. And if that sounds like a plan, we'll do that. I was gonna say something like, if you have input, feel free to toss it in, but am I gonna actually follow it? I don't know. Anyways, let's start. We're gonna joint warm up, right? You can do these seated, you can do these standing. For the most part, you'll have some flexibility in these, right? It is the first morning live of the day, and sometimes you just need to slowly wake up and give your body a little love, right? That's what this show is about. We are working our joints. So I want you to get started with just giving a little wiggle, giving a little move, seeing what feels a little bit stiff, all right? And sometimes you just wake up in the morning, you're like, wow, my back. And then you start waddling like this. You're like, ugh, ugh, for, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but maybe you're just going like this a little bit, right? Like your knees aren't bending, your low back isn't bending, you're just kind of flopping around from side to side a little bit. That type of stuff. Usually, our whole body just goes into this kind of mode, and what you really need is thoughtful movement. Trying to get a little bit of movement that causes your muscles to loosen up. So it's not so stiff, so it's not so tight, so it's not locked up, so you don't have to wobble. And that's probably what we're going to be trying to do for the next little bit. Rena says, I finally made it to the beginning of the workout. Amazing! Thank you. Yeah, I tried to make sure I chit chat a little bit this morning so that we could finally start with a bunch of people. Never give up, says entire body. Mazzy says, good morning. And good morning. Oh, this is so cool. Thank you. And Bronx says, good morning. And Warren says, handsome. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's get started. We're going to start from the exterior of the body. We're going to move towards the inside of the body. All right. What I want you to do is start with your hands. You can just make some gentle fists. You don't have to be like, and right. You don't have to, clench your fists and get super aggressive with it. Just slowly, gently work through your hands joints. Right. Your fingers have like 1, 2 joints in each of the fingers. You don't have to go through them one at a time. But if you close your fists, open up the hands, close the fists, open up the hands, close the fists, open up the hands. If you do it like 10 times, you'll be like, wow, this is surprisingly exhausting. I didn't realize just opening my hands would be so tiring. That is how we're going to start it. All right. Next, we're going to move on into some wrist circles. Yes, says, I didn't know there was morning Ken. Yes, there is morning Ken. On Saturday and Sunday mornings, we do a 9 a.m. live, and we slowly warm up our joints. We learn about moving them through their full range of motion, hopefully helping us to wake up our muscles nice and gentle and slowly so that you can have an awesome weekend where you get to move a little bit more like how you want. All right? What else we got over on YouTube? That's hilarious. Uh, cool. All right. Yes says nice over on TikTok. Okay, cool. Once you have started rolling out your wrists, getting a little bit of love through them, you're starting to feel the heat in your joints. Maybe it's not like a firing, burning heat, just slowly warming up. We're probably ready to move on. All right. Make sure that you've turned your wrists in both directions. If you're able to do it like this and do both hands at the same time, great, go for it. If you need a little bit of help getting into some deep range of motion, use one hand to pretty much pull the other hand or push the other hand into position. And make sure you just go in both directions. All right. The wrists are relatively fragile. compared to a bunch of the other, joints in your body. So don't be too aggressive. And remember, the goal is to wake up. It's not about going, "Ah, my wrists are I don't know what you're gonna do with your wrists. We're not doing like push-ups on our wrists right now, all right? It's just gently waking up our wrists. We're gonna move on into our elbows, all right? I'm gonna scoot a little further back because this is a little wider looking movement. You don't have to do anything. What we're gonna do is make little chicken wings, all right? When we flap, I want you to bring your wrists up towards your ribs. We're going to come on and bring the arms back and through and around again. All right. This gets a little tiny bit more range of motion out of our elbows. Gets the joints moving. That's a little bit wider than if we were just to go up and down the way your elbow is intended. All right. So we're doing this crazy looking swimming stroke thing, and if you just do 10 reps in each direction, that'll be a good place to start. If you are new to this, it is highly likely your shoulders are going to shrug up. You're going to be feeling a whole bunch of tension because you're like, how do I do this? Don't worry about it. Just try to consciously relax your muscles. Remember, this is a joint mobility, like sort of warm up thing, right? We're not really trying to get all our muscles firing super hard. So when you can, once you got, the basics of the movement down, start trying to figure out which muscles you can start relaxing because they're probably not that important. For example, my shoulders always fire, and I really should just go, there we go. But as soon as I start doing two arms, I don't know why I do this too. All right, so it's not just you, it's me. All right, once you've done a bunch of these, and your elbows are starting to loosen up a little bit, let's go in reverse. So now our hands are out, they're coming around. You're gonna smack yourself in the back of your ribs with the back of your hands, and you're gonna bring the hands through. All right, we're gonna do like 10-ish of those. And I want you to try and sit up a little straighter. I want you to try and find a way to be a little bit more relaxed. Your shoulders up here might be a little bit tired after doing 10 reps. We've probably done more than 10 because I talk so much and I don't count, but hey, that's all right. Whew. All right. Once we've worked through our elbows, it's time to do some arm circles. But if your shoulders are real tired, give yourself a little love, give yourself a little massage first. Bring the hands down. And ooh, that's nice. And whew, let's move on. Ready? Arm circles. These don't have to be crazy. I want you to try to keep your torso and your upper body in more or less a stationary spot. Don't do too much moving around. What we want it to come from is right here in the arm joint, right? So far, we've gone up from our hands into the wrists, into the elbows, and now we're deep in the shoulder. If we're doing about 10, 15 of these, that's probably a good spot for us on the live at least. If you want to do more of these, if there's a joint that's causing you to be a little achy, a little stiff, and you want to give it a little bit more attention, you want to work through that range of motion that it should have, feel free to do more. All right. Once you're done, 10, 15 reps go in one direction. Let's switch back. And I want you to really try to open up a little bit on this one because a lot of us are going to have some shoulder discomfort when we're trying to work through this type of motion. Right? A lot of people get locked up here, or maybe you get locked up here, and we're just trying to get a little bit of flowiness out of this, right? If you're, you know, you have some dance background, you want to make some pretty arms and do some graceful stuff, feel free to add it in if that's fun for you. But work through your shoulders, all right? Whew. Once one arm is totally tight and you're like, oh man, flop it. Let's move over to the side. Come on back and around. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can experiment with this. If you want to bring your arm back so that your thumb is pointing up when you stick it back behind you, if you want to rotate your hand so it's the back of your hand, if you want to rotate some more and just get a whole bunch of craziness going on. That's fine. That's fun. Enjoy it. Most of it won't really get that deep into the shoulder, so probably won't change that feeling very much, but the rest of your bones in your forearm rotating, that's cool. All right. Let's go back into the other direction. And if your arms or shoulders are feeling a little tired, I promise it will get easier over time because your muscles will get used to doing this movement. Most of us, we don't do anything to get our joints warmed up. So sometimes when you're learning a movement for the first time, way too many muscles start flexing, start contracting, start trying to figure out the movement. And once you've done a couple rounds, you've done a couple of days, your muscles will figure out. Some of them will start relaxing and it'll be a little easier. All right. That is our arm circles. We're gonna move up to the neck. All right. The neck has a whole bunch of bones. Just almost fell over. The neck has a whole bunch of bones and is designed to move in a whole bunch of different ways. Right. So let's tackle them one at a time, nice and slow. Necks for a lot of people are going to be a little bit more sensitive, so definitely be careful. If something feels like it's a sharp, intense pain, then maybe you got something that you need to get checked out. Maybe you just woke up a little funny, your neck's a little bit funny today. That's also normal, relatively normal. And finally, what I'm going to cover is going to be mostly normal neck function. So if something else is going on for you, you know you got something going on for you. You don't have to match whatever it is that I'm saying, whatever I'm doing. Make sure that it stays relatively comfortable for you. All right. So next up, your neck is designed to look directly to the left and directly to the right, more or less. You usually can go a little further than just directly to the left and right. But for most people, looking directly to the left and looking directly to the right is going to be more than enough. So let's sit up nice and straight and tall. And let's rotate, keep the chin level, bring it all the way across, try to look off your shoulder. All right, and let's do the same on the other side. When you do this, I know I call this like joint warm up, waking up your muscles a little bit, but this might take a little extra work. All right, because most of the time our neck muscles aren't going anywhere close to this range of motion. If you're using your neck muscles to pull your head into position, this might be a little tiring. So take your time, breathe, and let's look from side to side. Remember, this is about mobility. We're not trying to whip our head across as fast as possible. That's not the goal. We're not trying to injure ourselves. We're trying to help our neck get as much range of motion out of the movement as possible. All right? We want you to be able to look out the blind spot of your car without rotating and going crazy. We want you to be able to I don't know, hear the creepy sound in the house and go and check it out really easily. We don't want you to have to spin around and do spin moves for little things because you have the mobility in your neck. All right. Once you've gotten a couple of these, your neck muscles are starting getting a little bit more chill. You can go a tiny bit faster. You don't have to hit your maximum range of motion every single time. Try to aim for it, but you don't have to force yourself into the deepest possible motion every single time. We're just trying to make the movement a little bit smooth. All right, that is a whole bunch of neck side to side stuff. Rotation, rotation. There, that's the word I need. Next, what else does your neck do? It bends forward and it bends backwards, right? So what I want you to try to do now is slowly bring your chin down so that your chin is basically tucked into your chest. All right? And then I want you to do the opposite. I want you to lift that chin up into the air until the tops of your eyes can slowly, slightly look just behind wherever you're seated, wherever you're standing. All right? Looking slightly behind you. And let's do it again. Come on down. Ooh, I got some tension right here in the back of the neck. I'm gonna massage my neck for a second. You guys can continue if you want, or you can just massage your neck just for funsies too. That's great. All right, chin down, chin up. Ooh. We didn't do a whole bunch of different angles of movement for the other joints because most of the other joints don't have that much extra bonus stuff they're capable of, right? The neck and the spine have a lot of bending that they're capable of, and well, talking when letting the throat sort of stretch out and contract is really hard. It's making my throat itchy. Oh, like I want to cough, but I don't actually need to cough. It's just I talk too much. Okay. Chin up, chin down. Remember, everybody's neck is going to be in a different situation. If you've been slouching, you got a little neck hump, whatever is going on, this might not be as easy for you to replicate. Alright? And that's okay. This is about getting you into your best range of motion. It's about you waking up your neck muscles. And if you need a little bit more time, you need a couple more days, couple more weeks to start getting into more deeper ranges, deeper ranges of motion, that is okay. That is okay. All right, we've done a whole bunch of up and down. We got one last neck rotation wiggle thing to look at, and it is tilting the head. All right, we're going to try and bring this ear down towards your shoulder without rotating, without the chin going all sorts of crazy places, right? We're trying to go directly to the left, directly to the right. All right? So, hope you're ready because that's it. That's everything. Stand up nice or sit up nice and straight and tall. Tuck your chin so that your head is relatively level, right? You're not trying to stick your head up too high like this. If you're a shorter person like me, and everybody you look at, you gotta look up like this. Maybe your chin is really used to pointing up into the sky to make eye contact with people. I have to make a conscious effort to bring my chin down. The lady at the DMV was really upset. She was like, "Lower your chin." I was like, "What does that even mean?" And so I have a really angry DMV photo on my license because I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? But I realized later, I probably just lift my chin up way too high, and I do that a lot. And that's like my normal resting position. I don't even know that I lift my chin high because this is just how I look at people. I'm like, oh, hi, hello. Anyways, we don't have to talk about this. Let's move on to our next. Stand up straight, chin relatively neutral. Don't look up, don't look down. Angle or this thing. Bring your ear down to your shoulders. All right. Try not to get your head rotating too much. If you're struggling and you're not sure you quite got it figured out, you can always go back to a wall, right? And with your back up against the wall, you can sort of feel the back of your head staying more or less neutral against the spine. At least, you won't be like this. You won't be like, leaning forward and having your neck do that, all right? I've talked a lot. I've given a lot of examples. We can probably just be doing this now. Try to relax your shoulders when you bring your head from side to side. And oh, don't forget to breathe. Right? We're just trying to work through our joints to help us very smoothly warm up our body, wake up from hopefully amazing, delicious sleep, and get you prepped for crushing the day. Hopefully, will help you identify some joints that are a little funky that need some extra love, and then you can start turning some of these movements into something that you do all the time, and help get your body feeling better because you're getting the reps in. All right. Once you're done, I don't know, 10, 15 of these on either side, we're ready to move on down the spine. All right. We don't have to stay on the neck, but hopefully your arms are already feeling a little looser, a little floppier. Maybe, the muscles are just tired because we put you through a lot, but hopefully your muscles are feeling a little looser, a little floppier, and we're ready to move down the spine. Okay? What I want you to focus on right now is rotating your upper chest. either left or right. We're going to do both directions. And I want you to do it in a way where your arms are not, actively trying to pull you into position, but they're kind of just following. And when they follow, I kind of want you to just let your arms relax, swing around, and I want you to just slap yourself on the butt a couple of times. All right? I don't want this, right? I don't want the chest to stay completely stable while your arms are moving. What we want is to get a little gentle rotation and let the arms be a part of it. And that's it. That's how we're starting this. So rotate the chest, open it up. Ooh. And look in the same direction. All right. We already worked on that neck rotating from side to side. You can add a little bit more in. And remember, it's not about the arms going where it needs to go. It's about the chest rotating and then the arms kind of following. And if they give you a little slappy slappy, wake up, get some blood flow in your waist, in your hips, in your butt, then great. Amazing. All right. So really commit to that rotation. Your neck is turning, your chest is turning, your arms are flopping over, and you're going the other way too. You might notice that you have a direction that you are much more inclined to rotate deep in. All right. Double check that you're starting in a neutral position. Look directly to the left, look directly to the left. Look at what would exist if you rotated really well and rotated nice and deep. And, if you're rotating a lot better in one direction versus the other, make sure that you're spending some time working on the other rotation. See if you can even it out a little bit, right? Most of us, we're going to have a side that we prefer. We're going to have a side that we favorite. You're going to have a better hand at doing things. You're going to have a better leg for power and jumping and balance. And it's entirely possible you rotate or you sit in a way that one part of your spine is able to do something a little bit better than the other. I just want you to notice it. And if you can, identify where in your life that might be coming from. Maybe you did something as a kid and you just had magic mobility for the last, forever. Maybe you slouch and you sit in a chair like this a little bit, and so this part of your spine does something funny that the other half doesn't. Whew. All right. Now that we have thrown our shoulders, our arms around a whole bunch of times, we're going to slowly move down the spine. We're going to work on slightly different ranges of motion. All right. We're going to do some cat-cow next. And the main goal of this is to both bend forward and bend backwards, right? I want you to slowly bring your chest down, cause that back to bend, tuck your chin to your chest. We already did some of this neck stuff earlier, but we're going to combine it with the back now. Then I want you to arch your back, especially in the low back. I want you to open up the chest at work or whatever it is, wherever you need to get a little bit of movement in your spine. But for most of us, you'll be able to get a little bit more out of that movement if you do it on all fours. All right, so quadruped, which just means you have four limbs down on the ground. Four. Let's go. If you're gonna do these quadruped, knees underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders, more or less. If you're like slightly off, it's not a big deal. But if you look like this, that's probably bend right here. We're gonna lift our chest up. We're gonna lift our neck up, our chin up. Get that stretch in the neck, and then we're gonna come down. I want you to tuck your butt. I want you to lift your low back. I want you to lift your mid back. I want you to lift your upper back. I want you to tuck your chin to your chest. And whew, I don't know how many of these we are gonna do. Look up, look down, do all the other parts that require your spine. I just don't want to say the whole thing over and over and over again. And whew, let's go for 10 of these. Usually on the lives, I do like 5 to warm up, but let's do 10. Everything else we've done a whole bunch. So oh, hopefully you're finding new chunks of your mid back, your upper back that you can stretch out and you can go, oh, this is crazy. Ooh, and that would be really nice because I want you to know, I want you to recognize, I want you to feel how these stretches, how these movements are making your body feel. I want you to feel how these movements are making your body feel. That's it. I want you to recognize how these movements are making your body feel so that you can pick a couple of good ones. You can go, ooh, I really like this one. And you can start incorporating it into the rest of your life so that you don't need to wait for me to start making your shoulders feel smoother, start making your back work. Ooh, man, my neck is tired. Oh, we did a lot of neck stuff. Maybe I should get rid of some of the neck stuff. Just combine it into the cat cow. Whew. All right. If you've done a whole bunch, some of your back muscles are starting to tense up because you've been trying to arch it really intensely or do the opposite. We're ready to move on. All right. The next thing we're going to do is some side bending. So far, we've covered two aspects of your spine. One is rotation, all right? And the other was the forward bending and the backwards bending, flexion and extension. Next, we got some side to side business to handle. Your spine is also designed to do this. Whee! And bend to the left and bend to the right. To get you started, I want you to imagine your hands sliding down the outside of your thigh and coming towards the ground, or if you're kneeling, coming towards the floor to help get this whole side of your body loosened up, get the whole side of your body stretched out. All right? And if you're struggling and you're finding that yourself, is rotating, your body is rotating, you can do this up against the wall so that your shoulders are more or less just brushing against the wall, and that will help keep you on track to sliding directly to the left, directly to the right, and coming on down. You can start not so deep and slowly work your way into deeper and deeper and deeper motions. This is why we do multiple reps. And we don't need to go out of our way to force ourselves down if you don't want to, because most of the time your obliques will be like, whoa, what's going on? And freaking out, especially if you've never really done something like this for reps. So just focus on breathing. Inhale, exhale, and see if you can flop a little deeper into each side. Once you've done a couple of these, and your obliques, the sides of your muscles, are a little bit mad at you, they're like, what have you been doing? Why are we doing random core work right now? We'll be ready to move on into our hips. All right, maybe let's do 3 more. Last couple of reps. Focus on exhale, sink a little deeper. Come on back. Other side, exhale. Sink a little bit deeper. A lot of these movements that we're doing right now can be made way more intense, can be turned into an exercise to strengthen the muscle that you're feeling stretched out, right? Our gentle movements are mostly to help relax the muscles so that they're not so stiff. But if you want to train them, which is another way to have them be so strong that relaxation, normal relaxation, is going to feel super easy, so you get more relaxed more easily, could look a little bit like this, right? So your butt is still against the wall. You lift an arm up, maybe you lift both arms up, and then you let gravity give you an extra boost, pulling you down into a crazy position. You're going to feel an extra intense contraction right here in the sides where you were feeling that like little tingle before. Now it feels like it's about to rip apart, and you can turn these side bends into little exercises for yourself. All right, you don't have to do it that way. I'm just letting you know that that exists. And a lot of the movements that we'll be doing, you can start adding a little bit of weight. Instead of being arm circles, it'll start becoming like crazy stuff. All right. Where are we going with this? Side bends are over. We're going to move down into the hips, right? So far we've gone from the fingers up into the wrists, into the elbows, into the shoulders. We did the whole neck. Now we're coming down the spine through that bunch of motion. We're going to move down to our hips. All right. I want you to hula hoop. I want you to do some hip circles. I want you to bring your hips through their full range of motion. Feel it in the side of the hip here. I want you to get used to folding forward at the hips back here. Feel it in the hamstrings. I want you to feel it in the side. I want you to lean back and feel that stretch in the front of your hips. So slowly work your way through. When I say hula hoop, that's just, the general vague idea of what the motion looks like. But I actually want you to slowly sink your hips deep into each oh, angle that you can. Feel the stretch in your joints. Keep on going. And if you want to speed it up, that's fine. All right. We do this move after the side splits live that I run at 9 p.m. If somehow you are not a regular of the 9 p.m. and only here for the 9 a.m., hopefully you're just in a different time zone. But the 9 p.m. live runs Monday through Sunday at 9 p.m. and we're doing side splits and hip mobility. After the side splits, we go through a whole bunch of these hip circles to help double check that the hips are moving good, forcing ourselves to get through that range of motion, making sure anything that's feeling tight, gets a little bit of attention, gets a little bit of love, and all right, now we're back through our hip circles. At some point, hopefully you switched directions because I forgot to say it aloud even though I did it. And if you are switching right now, don't worry, it's not too late. We can do a lot of hip circles. Keep going. As you get more comfortable with these, see if you can get a little bit deeper in some of the angles. See if you can pop that hip out just a little bit more. See if you can feel that stretch pulling in the front of that hip a little bit more. And whew, that is our hips. But there's this tiny, tiny little part right above the hips. You can get a little bit of like low back and hips going, right? We don't have to go onto that crazy stuff. You can get a little bit of extra movement in your spine by doing something that looks much closer to hula hooping. But it is much harder to describe what we're doing because what I'm actually trying to get you to do is get a little bit of movement together with the low back and the hips. And I know what it looks like. I'm just saying your hips should be able to move that way, okay? If you let yourself slowly move through that range of motion, it'll help loosen up some of those back muscles as well and help to get you feeling nice and smooth with it. All right, get some body rolls going. Oh, okay, I'm tired now. All right, hopefully you've just experimented. We've been loosening up the whole entire back for a long time, for like minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes. So hopefully you can start experimenting with popping that hip, getting sassy with it, and having a little bit of fun with what your hips, what your low back, what your chest, what your shoulders, all of this stuff in the center can do. All right. Most of us, and I was talking about this earlier when we opened the show, after getting out of bed, you're like kind of stuck, wobbling a little bit. Maybe your knees aren't doing that much bending, but this chunk of your back, this chunk of your spine is all locked up because it hasn't moved in hours. And then you're wobbling around a little bit like this, right? This is how you counter that. You find ways to move the spine, to loosen up the spine, to wiggle the hips, wiggle the shoulders, wiggle the everything around, and that that's the trick. It's just a move. All right, we're gonna move down. We were at the hips. Now we're gonna move down to the knees. All right, the knees. The main job of the knees is to do this. Right, lift your heel up to your butt, extend the ankle so that's out in front of you, so your leg is straight. But you got a little bit of side to side that your knees can handle. It's not a lot that it can handle, but a little bit it absolutely can. If you have old crazy knee injuries, feel free to skip this one and you can just focus on extending the leg and bending the leg. But if you have otherwise, an injury-free knee, maybe it's just a little achy when you take the stairs or whatever, that is usually going to be fine. All right, try it nice and gentle, and then if you want, you can commit a little bit more intensely. All right. Next, we're going to bring our legs together so that there's about, I don't know, 2 fingers width in between your heels. Want to bring your knees about the same, right? We don't want something crazy like this. If you want, you're like, I can't control the distance between my knees and my feet, feel free to just bring your legs together. All right. What we're going to do next is place our hands sort of up in the mid thigh. And we're going to slowly help our knees come slightly off to the side. All right. If you're struggling with balance, feel free to hold on to something. Or if you don't think that this is a very comfortable position, feel free to skip it if you want to. All right. But you got a little bit of wiggle room in what the knee can do laterally from side to side. And that is what we're going to include in some knee circles. All right. What I want you to do is slowly bend the knee and bring it down into just a little light knee bend. Lean back over, come back into standing. All right. From the side, it's going to look a little bit like this. We're leaning to the left with the knees. The feet are still flat on the ground for the most part. We're going to come back into a knee bend. We're going to lean some more. We're going to come back up, right? So the knee is basically doing this thing for a knee circle. We're just trying to get a little bit more coverage of the joint's useful space, right? When you're being athletic, when you're trying to shuffle from side to side, when you're trying to do something explosive, your knees are always going to have a little bit of ability to go in and out a little bit, right? Most of the time, the training that we do tells you to keep your knees directly above your ankles, and it tries to stabilize it as much as possible. We're not trying to do heavy exercise right now, right? We're just trying to slowly move our joints through what they should be capable of, and we're doing it nice and gentle. So if this is causing a little discomfort in your knee, feel free to stop. For most people, this should be relatively okay, right? And we're doing this little knee circle thing. If you haven't switched directions yet, congratulations, you're about to learn that this movement is way more complicated than it looks. And I want you to keep playing with it. When you go forward, you might feel a stretch in your Achilles tendon in your ankles. When you go from side to side, your feet might come off the ground. Whatever is happening with you, try to keep your feet planted. We're trying to get the stretch and getting the joints involved in the knees, right? We're not trying to go so far to the left that our foot's not even down on the ground anymore. Now we're off balance. Cool? So the circles don't have to be big. They don't have to be intense. They can be little tiny baby circles. Because realistically, for most people, that's all of the range of motion your knee joints got anyway. All right? So once you've done a couple of these, let's focus on making them a little smoother, a little less clunky, and now we look like, weird toys or something at like an amusement park. Hopefully, you've done a bunch of these. You go, ooh, these knee things are kind of fun, knee circles. And we're done. We're gonna move down to the ankles. All right. The ankles are a little bit clunky, and we train them very similarly to how we do our wrist circles in the beginning. All right. If you're feeling like you got a lot of strength, you got a lot of control, feel free to do a version that looks a little bit like this. All right. We are working through our wrists, full range of motion. If you're like, what? You can move those things? You can take one hand and you can sort of pull that joint through its range of motion. We call them ankle circles, but it's not actually circles that we're doing. They're going to be like clunky. They're going to be like until they finally come all the way around. So take your time. If you need to find a comfortable position to get into to be able to work that ankle mobility, feel free to take a seat, sit on the floor, sit on a chair, sit on your favoriteest, comfiest chair, and slowly bring your feet around. Nice and gentle to start. Figure out what your ankle is capable of actually getting into and go, oh, those don't look like circles at all. Okay, all right. And then come on around the other way. Notice if, your ankles are cracking, making a lot of sounds. Relatively normal. If the cracking is accompanied by pain, that's not good. You might want to get that checked out. But if it's just cracking and feeling absolutely normal and fine, that's probably okay. All right. Keep on going. Change directions a couple of times. Have fun with it. Experiment. And once you more or less got it, you can see if you can replicate that motion more or less using your foot muscles, your leg muscles, your ankle muscles, all those muscles kind of down here. And finally, once you kind of more or less got it figured out, you could also do a version where you're just casually standing and you're letting the floor do what your hand was doing. And you're adding a little bit of muscle engagement with your feet and ankles as well. Right? Right. We do probably want to work towards the version where you can just go like this, right? Because for most people, this will be the easiest one to balance. You can just stand back up when you're ready to stop, and you can lean a little bit, maybe hold on to a wall to get the ankles to go through their range of motion. Let's switch over to the other side. Now that you've basically got what we're trying to do, at least on one leg, let's do 10, 15 reps on one ankle, and then go in reverse on that same ankle. I don't know why I said one ankle. On the remaining ankle. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's go the other way. 1. Ooh, big, huge crack. 2, 3. Crack came from the toe. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. If you've rolled your ankle a whole bunch of times, there is a really good argument for you to do some ankle strengthening stuff. All right. When the ankle muscles get a little bit stronger, but also are very comfortable being nice and loose, get nice and stretched out, you have a lot more resiliency towards rolling your ankle, right? The strength lets you do stuff more aggressively. The mobility lets you to accidentally, like, misstep and be okay. Like, it'll still hurt in the moment. You'll be like, oh God, that's awful. And then you'll take a couple of limping steps, and then the pain will go away, and you'll be like, oh, hey, that's not so bad. My ankles are magic now. That, eventually, right? This doesn't happen overnight. But if you train your ankles to be more mobile and more resilient, they become more resilient. And ankle circles, those little gentle joint stuff, helps wake them up so that if you have that ankle mobility, but you're a little stiff for the day, you just woke up, it helps you reclaim some of that mobility so that you can actually use it for the next time you go, oh, that's awful, what's going on? So that's what joint mobility is for. All right. Let's see. We have covered pretty much everything. All we got left of our feet are some toesies. All right. And what I want you to do is treat them the same way that we treated our hands earlier. Toes are capable of a whole lot. They can go pick up things. You can like pinch grip things, all sorts of craziness, right? So I want you to do what we did with our hands. Open up your hands as wide and high as you can, right? Do the same with your toes. Try to balance your weight on your forefoot, on your heels. Lift your toes up as high as you can. Then bring them down into a fist. Clench those toes, hide them underneath, turn them into little claws, and then we'll go and do that back and forth a bunch of times. If your feet get really tired along the way, that's okay. All right. Take a break, chill out, relax. Open, close, open, close. Should I move further back? I feel like the chat is like in the way. So I'll stand right here. Open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. Once you've done a couple of those, we got some fun, just last thing for you to try. All right. Your feet are capable of a whole bunch, and they got so many bones, so many muscles throughout the feet that we could spend like an hour on just feet stuff, but I don't want to do that. So we got a challenge instead. What I want you to do is use that motion that you were just practicing, opening up the toes, closing those toes up, making that fist. I want you to see if you can pull yourself forward. Clench those toes a little bit more. Let them pull yourself forward. If that feels crazy for you, you're like, there's no way. You can switch it up. You can do the reverse. You can use maybe a towel, a rag, and drop it down underneath your front half of your foot. And you can use your toes to pull that towel in towards your foot. And I hope you've been noticing that I'm slowly getting closer and closer to the camera. And it's because my toes are now exhausted, pulling myself forward on every single one of these reps. If you want to make it easier for yourself, you want to lean forward, you want to swing a little bit of extra momentum, feel free to help out your toes, getting in those reps. But your feet are designed to do a whole bunch. So when you can, experiment a little with it, right? Your toes can do this. You can like bend them real far back, and you can get that stretch in a variety of ways. You guys are set up against the camera like that, so you can't really see necessarily, but if I angle my foot, maybe you can. You can stab your toes into the side of a wall and have your toes point straight up. It's the same for your foot as if you were doing this, right? So that's cool. You can also do the opposite. Just like you can do this with your hands, you can do this with your toes. All right? And I know a couple of ballet dancers who can like bend the like neck chunk, like literally like this, and they can like slide around on the floor, and that's insanity to me. That looks crazy, but I only want you to know that is doable. Your joints can absolutely move in that way and can handle the weight somehow. Crazy, I know. All right. Anyways, that's enough. We've covered basically the whole entire body. And somehow I've talked so much today that we are 48 minutes deep into the library. Whew. Let's see. Usually we do some back and posture stuff, and I figure we should probably do it anyway because I promised that we would. So we're going to do 4 exercises. And all of the exercises are going to target the backside of your body. All right. When I say backside, I don't mean your butt. We do a glute bridge, but that's not the butt, the backside I'm referring to. When you are a normal human being in modern day society in 2026, we probably spend a lot of time doing something like this, right? And that slouching, musculature wise and bone stuff wise, looks a little bit like this. We are relaxing our upper back. These muscles are getting real long, and when they get real long, our shoulders come forward and our chest in return shrinks up, right? Because we're spending a lot of time in this position. So this in the front, your chest muscles get tight, and the back muscles get really loose. So what we're going to do is a little bit of the opposite. We're going to contract those upper back muscles, those, sort of around the neck, the shoulder blades type muscles. We're going to work on that for a little bit. We're also going to work on strengthening some of the low back muscles, some glutes, some hamstrings. We're going to do some glute bridges. We're going to counter all of that with a little bit of break by focusing on the front, focusing on the core, so you get that nice stability in your torso. And hopefully that'll be more or less the whole show. I'm going to take a quick look at the chat because there's been a little bit since I last seen it. Wonder Bread says, "Do you do this every morning?" Just asking so I could plan to do it on schedule. I do this every morning at Saturday and Sunday mornings, and then the rest of the mornings I have to go work, so those don't exist. But at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we do more lives, and the lives are a little bit more intense because it's evening lives. Hopefully, you've already woken up. We're doing side splits and hip mobility stuff. All right, so, whew, thank you for giving me the perfect segue to tell you about the other show that I do. Cool. All right. What else we got? Sola Mancha says feel cracking on my upper back when I do the ankle and toe exercises. Nice. Feel cracking on your upper back when you do the ankle and toe exercises? That's crazy. I have absolutely no idea how that's happening, but I think that's good. If it doesn't cause pain, that's fine. Just that seems crazy. Okay. A dreamer interpretation says this is exactly what I needed. Amazing. Adrian says, "Go Ken, go!" That's so funny. Yes, because we've been shaking our hips like Shakira. Shakira, Shakira. Do 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 do. Oh, awesome. People are feeling inspired to get back into the stretching studio. We got thanks for sharing with us. Hello, Ken. Happy to be here again. Amazing, 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 amazing. Okay, let's get into the back stuff before it gets much later. I don't want to take up all of your time doing stretching in the morning. You gotta live your life on the weekends, all right? This is just to get you a little bit more movement, look prepared. Just gotta go do stuff with that preparation, all right? What are we gonna do? We're gonna lay down on the floor. Usually we have a bunch of warm up. So since we did so many reps of all those movements today, maybe we won't need as much. We'll see. Play it by ear, all right? If you want to do 5, do 5. If you want to do 10, go for it. I'm gonna do 10. Cool? All right. Let's see. The next move that we're going to do, the first real kind of exercise thing that we're going to do, we're actually trying our best to contract our muscles, is a Superman. All right. This version is going to be a little bit harder. We're lifting the hamstrings, glutes, low back, upper back, neck even a little bit, and our arms. You don't have to do the super hard version. You can break it up into two pieces. So you can do the upper body, you can do the lower body. All right. The upper body, our goal here is to contract the low back, the mid back, and trying to lift our chest off the ground. That is plenty. If you want to keep your neck neutral, which is perfectly good, you can rest your head on your crossed arms. And when you contract your muscles, you can inhale, contract, try to lift up, hold for a second, and come on down. That would be great, right? If you want to work on it and you're like, oh, I don't have enough muscles to pull myself up like that, feel free to try to use your hands for a little bit of help, right? It's going to look more like a cobra in yoga. You don't need to come all the way up, right? You don't need to do all of that. Just try your best and start contracting as many muscles as possible because we're trying to strengthen your low back muscles, trying to strengthen your back muscles so that you have slightly nicer posture, all right? That's it for the top half of the body. The bottom half of the body, we're contracting the glutes, we're contracting the hamstrings, we're sticking our hips real deep into the ground, we're trying to lift all of this up, and when you get tired, you can come down. So, ultimately, I want you to combine both. I want you to do a little bit of both at the same time. But if you need to take it in smaller pieces, you need to focus on one piece in particular, feel free to do so. All right? If you want to do 5 reps of the upper, 5 reps of the lower, perfectly fine. Cool? All right. Let's do 10. However, you got to do your 10. We're going to inhale, we're going to come up, we're going to hold, we're going to exhale, and we're going to come down with control. Let's go. Inhale up. Exhale down. Whoa. Inhale up. Exhale down. 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 I forgot to count. I was daydreaming. I think we're at 7. I'm going to pretend we're at 7. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 8. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 9. And last one. Inhale up. Exhale down. Whew, that's 10 reps. All right. Next, turn it on over. And lay on your back. We're going to do some glute bridges from here. All right. The reason why we do glute bridges and care about them is because most of the time when you're sitting, your glutes and your hamstrings aren't doing anything. They just get squished. And they basically learn to not get involved. All right. We want them to be involved. We want them to be nosy. We want them to do a little too much rather than too little because when your glutes don't work, your low back typically has to compensate for them. When your hips are not moving the way they're supposed to, your low back tends to compensate for them. And your low back probably doesn't like that, and it takes the form of low back pain. All right. So we want our glutes working. We want them to be helping because they're the biggest muscle in the whole entire body, and you want them to be helping out, all right? Don't let them slack off. So, we're going to do some glute bridges. Bring your ankles up towards your butt, and then I want you to lift your hips up into the air, all right? If you can only get so far, that's fine. Don't worry about what your maximum depth is, what your maximum range is. Just think about your maximum effort. And we want to aim your hips up into the air. High, 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 high. Contract those glutes. Poke your butt cheeks. Double check that they're contracting. And we're hanging out here for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27. Keep breathing. 26, 25. You can also flex your core. That will help support your butt. It will teach your body to flex the core and the glutes at the same time so that everybody is helping each other out and you're not getting lazy like glutes tend to be these days in modern society. And I have no idea how many seconds we got left. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, Don't give up. Flex those glutes even harder. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, come on down. Ah, my hamstrings are cramping. All right. See, that's some glute bridges. That was nice, right? All right. We're going to work on the core now. All right. We kind of worked on the core during the glute bridges, but now we're going to really work on the core. And what I want you to do is get your low back to the ground. All right. I know I got this little piece of foam here, so it might look a little funny, but I want you to flatten your low back to the ground. You might want to try tucking your knees in towards your chest to help bring your hips into position so that your low back is flat on the ground, right? So you want there to be no space for anything to hide underneath your low back, all right? From here, we're going to slowly extend our legs out in front while trying to maintain the no space for anything to go under your back. And that's basically it. We can make this harder or easier by extending the legs further away from the body, adding more parts of the body to be extended. That is optional, all right? So let's do it. Low back flush to the ground. Extend the legs. We're doing this for like 30 seconds. So if you know, pick a version that you think you can do for 30 seconds. If you can't do it, it's fine. You just make it easier as we go. Ready? 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Relax, breathe. Let your low back not be flush to the floor. That's fine now. All right. What have we done? We've done 3 exercises. It's time for the 4th and the worst one. We're doing some wall angels. All right. If you've never done a wall angel before, let me tell you right now, this is going to be awful. And it's going to be awful because it directly is the opposite of what you're used to, right? The slouching. We're going to contract our muscles. We're going to pull our shoulder blades back. We're going to make sure our arms and our upper body is able to work and get used to doing stuff in that shoulder blades back position. And the way we're going to set this up looks a little bit like this. We're going to, again, have our low back tucked against the wall, nice and flat. We're going to bring our shoulders up into the wall, and then we're going to elbow our enemies in the face. And lift our elbows so they're about, shoulder height across, but they're touching the wall. All right. You don't have to, have them an inch deep into the wall with holes or anything. It doesn't have to be that crazy. I know I said elbow people in the face, but don't actually break your wall. That's not that important. And then from here, we're going to lift, we're going to rotate the shoulders, we're going to rotate the arms so that the wrists come back. And your goal here is to try to touch the back of your hand, the back of your wrists to the wall. You might be able to do it with one arm, possibly, but typically when you try to do it with 2 arms, it's going to be crazy. I'm probably like 4 inches away from the wall, just for reference. All right. I'm not saying I should be more flexible than you because I hate doing these. I only do them here on this live with you guys because I know they're probably good and they're probably important. But if I had to do them by myself, I would never do it. So that's why we're doing it together. All right. Let's stop rambling and get the suffering done. All right. Elbows up against the wall, wrists trying their best. Bring the elbows down and feel the tingly in your hands. Bring the elbows back up. Go a little higher. Try your best to squeeze those arms up and then come back down. And then up. And down. Remember, if you're moving too smoothly right now, chances are your elbows are not close enough to the wall. Bring those elbows back. If you can't move them with your elbows all the way back, that's okay. You can come away from the wall a little bit, all right? But don't be like, yeah, this is so easy. You guys are all losers. No, it's not that. It's and you're supposed to struggle and suffer the whole time, right? So I have no idea how many reps we've done. I just know how many. No, actually, I don't know how many grunts I've made. I just make a lot of them. All right. So the ones you've done a whole bunch of these, your shoulders feel like they're gonna fall off your back. we're probably ready to restart the whole thing. All right, let's go back onto the ground. Hips down. I got rid of the foam piece. I think it'll be just as comfortable. And let's get ready to go. We're going to inhale, we're going to come up. We're going to exhale, we're going to come down. And I want you to do it with control. We want to pause for a little bit in the most contracted up position. And I think that's it. Let's go. Inhale up. Hold it. Exhale down. That's one. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's two. Third time. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. That's three. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's four. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's five. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's six. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's seven. All right, we got 8, 9, and 10. We got 3 reps left. Let's hold for a little bit longer. Let's contract a little harder, and let's finish this strong. Ready? Inhale up. Hold. Contract. Hold. Contract. Exhale down. That's 8. 2 more. Inhale up. Contract. 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 Exhale down. 9. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale down. Whew. All right, roll over. Glute bridge. Give your low back a second to relax. Tuck your knees in for a second. Maybe do a little roll from side to side. Give your low back a little bit of a massage. And let's get ready to get those glutes working. All right. Ankles, heels, close to your butt. Lift the hips off the ground. Contract the glutes. Double check that they're flexing. Try and flex your core a little bit. Lift the hips and let's go. We're going to go 45 seconds. 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31. Double check those glutes are firing. Lift those hips. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep breathing, by the way. 6, 5. Don't hold your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, relax. Let your muscles come down out of that position and relax. Okay. I don't know if you can hear that I said relax when I made that crazy sound, but that was what you were supposed to hear. Relax, not relax. But sometimes I can't control my breath, so that's makes it hard to talk. All right, we're gonna move on into the core stuff. Hopefully, you had a couple seconds to relax. Bring your knees up. Tuck your knees in and make sure your low back is flat and flush to the ground. There's no space. Extend those legs as far away from you as you want. No need to go crazy if you don't want to. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. Some variations for you to try might look like this. Knees slightly bent, legs in front of you, arms reaching in front of you, core really working as you do a little bit of a crunch looking thing. You can experiment with pushing the legs a little further away. You can experiment with keeping your arms in front. You can make it harder by bringing your arms back behind you. And 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, come down. Whew. Your core is cooked. It's time for the worst part. Let's go do some more angels. All right, back to the wall. Low back, flush against the wall. Bring your shoulders back against the wall. Elbow your enemies in the face. Boom, boom. Rotate the arms so that your wrists are coming back, trying to touch the wall. And let's raise the roof. Come on up. Slowly come on down. Bring those elbows nice and low. Try to elbow your own ribs. And lift those arms back up. Remember, we are trying to contract all those muscles in the shoulder blades. We are trying to contract those muscles in the upper back. We're trying to pull our elbows into the wall behind us. We're trying to keep it so that our wrists are as close to the wall behind us as possible. We're trying to train ourselves to be able to actually move in this type of position where our back muscles are nice and strong and our back is straight. All right, so make sure to breathe. Make sure to keep moving up and down. And as soon as this gets a little easier, you're like, oh, wait, maybe I got better. Doubt yourself and contract a little bit more. All right, bring those elbows back. 5, 6, 7, 8. And all right, whatever. We're gonna do one last loop, so you can suffer more on the next one. I'm just kidding. We were talking so much. I was hoping you weren't paying attention. We've already done way more than 10. I was just randomly starting to count at a number. Cool. All right. Do a little wiggle. Do a little shake. We used all those muscles and contracted so hard that maybe you're feeling a little stiff again. All right. So we did all that work in the first half of the show to help you loosen up, to help you move a little bit smoother. Don't let that disappear. Start shaking out your hips, shaking out your back, shaking out your, I don't know, knees, shaking all the things that we worked on. And we're going for our third round. You ready? We're going to wrap up on this one. This is the last one. All right. Come on down. Find a nice spot to rest your hips. And let's come back up. Inhale up, exhale down, hold for a pause in between. Inhale up, hold, exhale down. Pretend you are a little penguin doing a little penguin slide. Inhale up, exhale down. That's 2. Inhale up, exhale down. That's 3. Keep going. Inhale up, exhale down. That's 4. Remember, you don't have to lift your neck up like I do. You can keep it neutral. That's absolutely fine. That's, I think, 5. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 6. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 7. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 8. 2 more. Let's go. Let's make this count. We're going to hold for 2 beats instead of 1. All right? Let's go. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. That's 9. Whew. One last one. Let's do this. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 10. All right. Roll over. We're almost done. Last round of all of these. We're going to hold that glute bridge for 45 seconds. If you want, we can do a minute. I don't know if you want that though. So we'll do 45 seconds. Bring your heels up to your butt. Lift your hips up. Contract those glutes. Contract the core. And 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27. If you started dancing, because my tone of voice changed. Flex your glutes harder. Flex your abs harder. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. We're almost done. 7, 6. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. All right, bring your butt down. Relax. That is our second move. We are done with those. It's time to move on to the core. Take another breath. Take your knees in. Bring that low back down to the ground so that it is flat. We don't want the low back to be feeling a whole bunch of pressure in this movement. All right. So let's do it. Extend your legs to wherever they need to go. Get into whatever position you got to do with your core and your upper body. Extend your arms if you're interested. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. That's 3 of our 4 exercises. We got one last one left. All we gotta do is like 10 wall angels, and we're done. Breathe here. And once we're out of excuses, I guess all we have left is to do the exercise. Let's go. Come on back up into standing. Whew. And low back up against the wall. Nice and flush. Lift your shoulder blades into the wall. Elbow your enemies in the face. Get some bonus points with your hands. And let's continue with our 10 reps. All right. Work those back muscles. Bring the elbows down. And up. That is one-ish. Let's keep going down and back up. 2, down and up. That's 3, down and up. That's 4, down and up. That's 5. Keep going. Down and up. That's 6, down and up. That's 7. Oh, down and up. That's 8. Keep going. 2 more. Down and up. That's 9. Make sure your low back is touching the wall. It's not coming off. Down and back. That's 10. All right. Flop over. Let your, ultra slouch now. Let those muscles relax. There's a time and a place for slouching. All right. We just do a lot of the slouching. Now that your back muscles are all tense and messed up right now because of the wall angels, you can slouch. It's okay. Just let them relax. All right. Try to fire some of those back muscles. Ooh, 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 ooh. Feel how strong you are. Don't walk around with your chest out like this. This looks ridiculous, but it's part of the exercise is strengthening the natural tone of the back muscles so that they hold you up a little bit more upright. That's the goal, right? And you see versions of this all the time when you see somebody walking around with really big biceps, right? There's probably a version where if they were super relaxed, it wouldn't be as big looking, but having bigger biceps partially is muscle mass, but partially is there's a little bit of natural tone. There's a little natural flex going on at all times, holding themselves in that position. So if you're somebody who walks around like this, right, and their arms look like they got gorilla thing going on, that's the bicep pulling the arm in, all right? Otherwise, if it wasn't pulling, the arm would be more or less straight. Bicep tone, got a little bit of this going on, right? What we're trying to do when we do all angels is build some tone in the upper back so that it kind of, because it's so strong, it's kind of is showing off and pulling you back into something a little bit more like that. Obviously, we don't actually want to walk around like this. That's a little crazy, but somewhere in the middle is where you want to end up. All right? So, now that you have done all that suffering for your posture, your upper back, your glutes, your hamstrings even, we've been running the show for about an hour and 16 minutes. So, it's time for us to start wrapping it up. There is 100+ of you over on TikTok, so thank you for being here. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed the live, the suffering. I try to make it a little bit entertaining, a little bit of fun, so that it's easier to stay consistent with, easier to want to do. And I hope you enjoy that part of the show. You should probably know that most of the content I make is not actually about just gentle joint stuff. Most of it happens at 9 p.m. Eastern, so tonight in like 10 hours and 43 minutes. That's my normal standard live, and we do side splits and hip mobility work. All right, side splits as in this thing where your legs go wider and wider and wider and wider and wider. And I haven't warmed up, so this is about as deep as my hips are gonna go at the moment. So that stuff, side splits and hip mobility, happens at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we start up with a warm up, so we all get into some crazy looking exercises together. And then we get into even crazier looking stretches soon after, right? If that is of interest to you, we do that live every single day, Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, to help build a little bit of consistency and help make the suffering that we put ourselves through a little bit more fun. Feel free to come back for that. Hit follow, hit subscribe, do all those cool things. What else do you need to know? Most of the other content that I make that's off of the live is not really side splits or posture joint mobility related. Most of it is just trying to make fitness a little bit more fun. I actually prefer, if we call it movement, most of the time, a little gentle movement. You know, some of this little hip wiggling and Shakira stuff. It doesn't have to be exercise. Maybe it shouldn't even be called exercise. Maybe you wouldn't even call it exercise, but it's really good for your body. And if you got 2 minutes waiting for coffee to come out the machine, microwave to heat up your food. All you had time to do was a couple of body rolls, a couple of hip shakes, and doing some Shakira dances, even some TikTok dances or I don't know, Fortnite dances, whatever is cool, however old you are, that's good for you. All right. Seeing movement as an opportunity to have a little bit of fun, do something a little interesting, shake it out, that is really, really, really good for you for a lot of reasons. One, if you're learning a new set of moves, your brain is working really hard, and that is good for your brain. Two, if you're learning a new set of moves and you're learning how to do cool things with your body, that is also really good for you because it helps identify things that maybe you're not so good at and things that you can improve on, and you get to understand your own body a little bit better, right? Those are all super awesome, useful things. But most importantly, your joints, they don't heal, they don't recover unless you move them. Your muscles, they get blood getting pumped to them. They heal really, really, really fast, and they are awesome for that. But your joints, they don't have blood vessels. If they had blood vessels, every time you took a couple of steps, you did a jump, you did a little hip and a hip, hop and a skip. Wow. What did I say? Hop and a skop? Hop and a skip, blood vessels would go exploding and you'd be just a giant pile of bruisiness, right? If you get slapped a little too hard, all of a sudden that area turns purple. That's blood vessels bursting underneath your skin, all right? And going, that was awful. We don't like that. Could you imagine if every time you took a step, blood vessels were exploding? That would be crazy, right? So there are no blood vessels that actively feed your joints and take care of your joints to help them recover. The only way they get nutrients, the only way they clear waste is through a system called synovial fluid. Basically, there's some goopy, jello-y kind of stuff in your joints. It's goopy, jello-y stuff, all right? So to get it moving, you gotta like push it down. You gotta do stuff with it, and that only happens when you're actually moving your joints. So don't treat a little dancing, a little grooving, as if it doesn't, count as exercise, if it doesn't count as movement. It absolutely does. If you add in a little bit of fun throughout your day over and over and over again, it adds up. All right. And it helps take care of your joints. So maybe you want to do something more fitnessy. You're like, I'm gonna do calf raises. Okay, fine. Do calf raises. Have fun. Enjoy. Calf raises are awesome. The calf muscle, or one of the calf muscles, is really good at pumping blood. And you can Google this if you want. Some people call it a second heart. So if you want to incorporate some calf raises so that you get all this leg blood pumping back into your heart, pumping across your body, amazing. Bonus benefits, right? Your ankles get a little stronger, your calves pump blood, your heart works a little less hard, and you get some fresh blood into your legs. What else? If you want to do something more crazy looking, you want to do some lunges. Fantastic. You want to do some squats? Amazing. You literally just need a couple of feet back and forth, right? Doesn't have to be crazy, doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to feel like your whole entire existence is miserable, right? Like it doesn't have to be that intense of a fitness experience. I want you to truly see that fitness can be fun, that moving can be fun, and I want you to believe that getting a little bit of exercise here and there lets you do more crazy things with the people you care about. Somebody's gonna ask you to help them move. You're gonna be like, boom, I got you. No problem. My body is able to handle that kind of craziness. You should probably hire movers, but my body is ready to handle that kind of craziness. If you have friends visiting with kids, with grandkids, with nieces and nephews, you want to be the coolest adult in the room. If your body's working good, you can absolutely be the coolest adult in the room because the kids will love you. All right? Because you can go jump around, you can crawl over things, you can play hide and seek, you can, I don't know, I don't know what else you do with kids that make them super excited. Oh, I throw them up and down. I've had lines of children at a birthday party getting thrown up and down in this game I call Elevator. And then the throwing part happens when we go to space. We go like the first floor, the second floor, the third floor, and the whole time we're doing like these kind of like crazy squats. And then uh, by the time I'd played the game like 100 times, people were like, I want something new. And then we were like, okay, where do you want to go? And they were like, to space or to the sky. I want to fly. And then we were like, oh, okay, I guess we were only going to be able to do like 5 of these. But started throwing kids up into the air and they loved it. You can be the awesome, super lovable uncle, aunt, whoever as well. And, you might need to maintain your body and get real good at throwing children up into the sky without the parents complaining. So, that might be a little hard, but you should aspire to it. All right, let's get ready to wrap the show. I'm gonna scroll down, check out the chat, and see if there's anything else I need to cover. Over on YouTube, it's looking pretty quiet. All right, and let's scroll down on TikTok. Do 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 do. Alec has sent a Turkish coffee. Hey, thank you. Hold on, I'm gonna scroll back to the last message I've seen already, and then scroll down from there. Dreamer interpretation says, I got more cracks here than with my chiropractor. That's awesome, I think. I think for me, right? Maybe not for your chiropractor, but I'm glad that you're working your bones, your joints, because that's what the point of a lot of the movements were is joint mobility to make sure that your joints were moving through what they should be able to do. And I'm glad that you're able to get a whole bunch of hopefully relief, right? If you're comparing me to your chiropractor. Adrian says pins in right ankle. I'm able to do most of the exercise without pain. Just want to be safe. Ooh, let's see what else we got. What else we got? I'm gonna see what else Adrian has said. Let's see if there's anything I can respond to. Destiny, travel bestie, has asked, can I do this after recovery from a buckle handle meniscus tear and surgery? Yo, I got no idea. It's 3 months. Um, if you were doing the knee stuff, the little gentle knee circles, it might be enough, it might not be enough. You should definitely get some advice from somebody who has some knee expertise. All right. The extent of my knee expertise is knee circles. All right. So it would be awesome if you could do them. And I think it will help you with your movement if you could do them. But if you've been sleeping real bad, your meniscus hurts all day, all the time, that is probably a sign that your knee is not ready for it just yet because it's only been a couple months. And like I said earlier, your joints, they don't get very many nutrients. So at some point, you're going to want to do a whole bunch of knee training. And when that time comes, take it very seriously. Absolutely do some knee circles and warm up your joints nice and slow before you get into the more intense knee exercise. But right now, at 3 months post surgery, I got no idea. That that is way too advanced for me. All right. I was looking for a post from Adrian. Oh, we saw this. We saw this. Hips don't lie. And I'm gonna look for more Adrian. I think Adrian was just letting us know that the right ankle was feeling little pins and needles. Yeah. Um, in general, if you're feeling pins and needles, reduce some of the range of motion. Go a little less deep into something. It might be that you're pinching a nerve or something with your right ankle, and that might be a little irritating and not get any more fun with more circles, right? Because you'll just be pinching and doing something funky to it over and over and over again. Sometimes it'll just go away on its own. Like you do a couple reps here and there, and you can keep on doing it over time, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, that thing has completely disappeared. But for now, start a little less intensely and do a little less range of motion. And if it goes away immediately, maybe you want to stay at a slightly less than maximum and see if that works for a little bit. Cool. Dreamer interpretation says, I got more cracks here than my chiropractor. Awesome. We saw that. And Charette says, thanks, Ken. You're very welcome. Dreamer says, ooh, not sure of this one. Which one is this? Is this the Wall Angels? Buddha Kukuda is back says, yay, my fave, Wall Angels. That's how I interpret that. It might have been more positive, but I interpret it as, yay, my fave, Wall Angels. Amelia sends crying smiley emojis. Nice, 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 nice. We got a whole bunch of gifts from Alec. I appreciate it. Thank you, Alec. And Uzer says, corny. Yes, absolutely. I am basically only able to tell dad jokes these days, so it's not looking good. I am definitely moving into that category of life, I guess. La Lalita says thank you. Lois says thanks. Ken Amelia says thank you. And we got a whole bunch of thanks. I think we're probably ready to wrap up then. Adrian says thank you so much, Ken. God bless you. See you later. Oh, lovely. So Macha says these are great, man. Less trap pain. Amazing. Fantastic. That's the goal. To give you a whole bunch of random tools that you've never tried before. And you go, oh, hey, this is nice. And hopefully make them, more or less not awful. Like the wall angels, I don't know if you can avoid them being awful. Unless like you're really super strong, and then maybe they'll be easy for you. But for most of us who have never done anything like this, who've done only the opposite, it's gonna be absolutely awful. And when I'm complaining, I mean it. I'm not, trying to make you feel better about yourself. I'm telling you, this sucks. So we should absolutely do it because it sucking is a sign your body probably needs it. All right. What else? Co-op mom says makes it fun. I'm new. I'll be joining you. Thank you. Amazing. Thank you, co-op. Thank you, co-op mom. What else we got? AN Matcha and Soul and Matcha. Oh wow, we got a lot of matcha in the chat. Hold on, I'm scrolling down. And says, my knees are tight. Can you suggest me how do I make them easier? Also, my left ankle is tight. So Matcha says, was able to do better wall angels on the floor because of my upper back pain. Wall angels on the floor. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's a great idea. That could be an easier version of wall angels for sure. Part of the reason why we do them standing is because you have to contract your muscles a lot harder to pull them into position, I think, compared to if you were laying down. When you're laying down, gravity is kind of pulling your arms back for you, so you don't have to, try as hard to contract the muscles. So it's a perfect in-between version to get us started. It's a great idea. Thank you. AN Matcha says, okay, thanks. All right, hold on, AN Matcha. I didn't mean to answer your question because I was answering somebody else's question. Let me take a look at this again. Can you suggest how do I make them easier? Okay, knees and left ankle. Cool. Oh, wow, I was sitting on my heels for too long in front of the camera. Now my heels are totally stuffed. Ah, hold on. Do some bending. Do some ankle circles. Revive my legs. All right, whew. Okay, better. All of a sudden, blood is rushing into my legs because I was sitting down like this on my ankles when I was looking at the chat just now, and oh, I sat down for too long. My right ankle is feeling quite crazy. All right, all right, all right. I've shaken them out enough. I'll be ready to continue. The knee stuff. The thing that I show in our live, matcha. I forgot your first 5 letters. Ayan with 2 A's. Okay. Look a little bit like this. We'll bring our knees together. Maybe you can have a little bit of room in between the knees, but if that is a little hard for you to maintain, feel free to bring the knees together temporarily. And we're going to keep the feet together. I want you to keep your feet flat on the ground so that you're not getting into positions that look like this, right? Where like half your foot is down or like 5% of your foot is down. And I want you to slowly lean to one side, all right? The other side, the upper half of your body is going to counter lean the other way to help you stay balanced. But we want to get your knee to get a little bit of this motion, right? And we're going to do some knee circles. So knee circles is basically combining two movements. It's the bending of the knees, right? Straighten, bend, and with a little bit of going to the left, a little bit of going to the right, which your knee should be in a general, normally healthy knee, able to do a little bit of, right? And we're just working through our joints like so. All right, from the side, it looks a little bit like this. We're coming up and around and up and around, and then we go the other way. And for most, whoa, I must have been talking a lot. My voice just cracked. For most people, that little gentle motion will get you through your knee joints capabilities, keep your joints feeling loved, and should be good. What else? You asked about an ankle in particular. Um, a general tool that you can use to help your ankle muscles relax, to help your joints move through their range of motion is ankle circles. You can start by wow, the imprint of the foam is on the back of my foot when I was kneeling on my legs or sitting on my heels. All right, anyways, so if you're working on ankle circles for the first time, you might want to find yourself in a seated position, grab your foot, and then your work, work your ankle joint through its full range of motion, right? Mess with it, play with it, see how you can manipulate the foot. As you get more skilled over time, you learn the muscles that you're using. You might be able to do the ankle circles using your own muscles while you're standing balanced, maybe hold on to something for help. And then you might also be able to do a version somewhere in between where you're using the floor to help you get through that ankle mobility. There are definitely other drills for strengthening your ankles, for doing things that make you more resilient to, you know, knee instability, ankle instability. But we didn't really cover any of that today. If that's what you're asking about, we can talk about it briefly. But the show, as we did it today, it was about gently moving through your joints range of motion so that you can help move yourself a little bit smoother through practice and help you move a little bit more comfortably. Cool? All right. What else? 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 I scrolled down a little bit more. So Majid says, while Angel's on the floor, I was able to contract harder on the way down, if that makes sense. Gonna move to the wall. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna just try this. Because we do literally the whole show on your back or on your stomach. So I should just experiment. Oh. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta bring my low back down. I was like, hey, I can touch my wrist down. That's crazy. Alright, low back. Much closer. Alright. Oh, that's very relaxing. Oh, it's nice. Wall angels on the ground, I think, is a nice place to start for sure. Ah, that was kind of nice. I want to lay back down now. But no, we gotta wrap up this show. All right, let's get ready to call it. We've been running for almost 100 minutes, I think, right? Are we at 94 minutes? Yes, yes, we are. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for coming in, working on your side splits. Nope. Sorry, I was just went into muscle memory, like vocal word memory. And what I meant to say was thank you, everybody, for coming in, hanging out, working on loosening up your body for the start of our weekend, Saturday morning here. And I hope you take away some tools that help you move better throughout whatever else you got to do in the rest of your life, All right. Hopefully, I'll see you again real soon because we got another live. This exact show tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. if you want to join in. It's always going to be a little bit different because depending on what people ask about, I'll change things up. I'll get pulled into some random tangent and I'll tell some random stories. But typically on Saturday and Sunday mornings, we're doing the gentle joint warm up. We're slowly going through them. I'm going to talk about them. Hopefully, I'll say something slightly different so that you get another like thing to remember that suddenly makes this a much more awesome exercise or movement for you. And then you go, oh, damn, that was awesome. And the real goal though is to help you actually do the work. Right? We're here together so that you're just like, okay, fine, yeah, I guess I'll do it. What are we doing? And we work our way through some stuff that helps you loosen up, helps you feel a little bit better, and helps you crush whatever else you got going on today. All right. If you like this live, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. The morning lives on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday mornings, are more chill, a little bit more wake up, get yourself moving, and try to make movement a part of your life rather than like a fitness thing that you do on the side that you drive half an hour away. There's plenty of stuff that you can do with just your body. There's plenty of stuff that you can do with just moving your wrist through its full range of motion, moving your neck through its full range of motion. You don't need to train those with dumbbells and weights and things like that. So you can absolutely do them anywhere. When I say anywhere, I mean, short of operating heavy machinery, anywhere. So that's probably all you need to know. I didn't have anything else planned for this goodbye, other than you should hit follow, you should hit subscribe, and most of the other content that I make is about making movement a little bit more fun, learning more about what you can do, doing cool things, and having a blast. Because that's why we should. Maybe you like having big muscles. That's awesome. If that's what makes you happy, amazing. But for most people, I imagine being able to do cool stuff with people that you care about without hesitating, without being like, "Oh no, that's a little too hard for me," or "That's a little too crazy." Being confident in moving is going to be the most important skill that you build. And I hope today with me, you've gotten a little bit of information, again, learned about some tools that you can use to help you move a little smoother so you have that confidence, so you can go crush whatever awesome opportunity to have some fun, learn something new, do something awesome that comes around, and you can go tackle those things. Cool? All right, go tackle some things. It's Saturday morning. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And if I see you, I see you. If I don't, then know that we do this live every single day, or sorry, we do a live every single day at 9 p.m. Side splits and hip mobility, and then on 9 a.m.s on the weekends, so Saturday and Sunday morning at 9 a.m. we do the chill joint warm up, cool stuff. All right, come back, hang out, and I'll see you again real soon. Hopefully, if you hit follow, you hit subscribe. Next time you're doom scrolling while you're waiting for something on the toilet, you'll see me and I'll be like, I should be exercising, but I'm pooping, so maybe later. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Closing out. Bye bye. Wasabi sends a bunch of waves. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll see you guys real soon. Closing out. Delak on YouTube right before I hit close asks, can you do muscle movements? Are we trying to build muscle? What do you mean by muscle movements? All movement requires muscle because if your muscles don't contract, you don't move. I'm gonna give you a couple seconds to answer, and then I'm gonna close out. If you're talking about exercises that build muscle, hypertrophy, then I could. I'm probably not going to do it today because I've been already going for about 100 minutes. I think I'm on minute 99 here, and I'm going to go do other stuff. But there are a lot of people on the internet that you can learn about hypertrophy. That is literally the majority of fitness internet. It's all about building as much muscle as possible in the most efficient way. For the most part, once you got a little bit of muscle, you're comfortable with looking okay, doing stuff, being able to do stuff typically is going to be a little bit more important, is what I care about more. So we absolutely could talk about hypertrophy and building muscle, but for most people, it's going to be more important to be able to do stuff, lift things, jump around, skip a little bit, do a little dance, shift, move, have fun with your body. And that's typically the type of content I try to make, helping you explore, doing new things, doing cool things, having fun, trying to figure out how to move your body in new ways. And I hope you go check that stuff out. All right. I'm not seeing any more comments come in from Abdel. So it's time for us to wrap up. Goodbye.